So friends, welcome
Yeah.
back in today's session. With us is Ankit Pansuriya, who is working in a data science profile. Please welcome Ankit. Hi Ankit, welcome to the show.
Hi, Yogesh. First of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to connect with you on this. So let me start with the data science. So data science is actually a broad term, right? So whenever people are starting their career into data science, right? So directly they have to enter into data analysis, machine learning. You will heard lots of words, right? In data science, AI will be there, machine learning will be there, computer vision, NLP, right? So those are the small terms, if I can say, right? But data science, if I'm talking about, right? So it's a broad term, right? So whenever any people is going to be entered into this field, right? So people are actually confused to start from where, right? So people are buying lakhs of rupees courses online. So there are available courses, right? So what I suggest is don't go for those kind of courses, right? Just make a simple and pure index on particular part and start learning and Googling it, right? So everything is available on Google, right? You don't have to purchase those lakhs of rupees course and do these things, right? So what I'm suggesting is to just make a proper index, just Googling it, make a proper index and start learning from this scratch, right? So if I'm talking about data science, right? So there are various parts, right? So you have to first learn about how to analyze the data, right? So each and every company have their own data, right? So data have different kind of patterns, right? They have different kind of insights, right? So what, as a starting point, what I'm suggesting is just look at the data, right? And just get some insights from the data. I mean, it means try to analyze the data, right? So it will help you better, right? Whenever you go for the live data into real world companies, right? So they have billions of data, right?
So can you quote certain examples, like what kind of data generally, is available in the company from your experience?
Yeah. So if I'm talking about a standard text-based data, tabular kind of data, right? So many companies, for example, e-commerce based data, right? So those have a sales data, right? Product data, right?
Okay.
So those are the tabular structured data, right? So yeah. So if you are looking at those data by numbering, I am not able to guess anything, right? But when I'm going to correlate each and every fields to with some kind of graphs and everything, right? So you will get some kind of insights, right? So data have some kind of patterns. You will get some kind of knowledge, domain knowledge, everything, right? Then you can able to come to the model part, prediction part, right? Then you can able to make some kind of model on it. Actually, see, every company have the database, right? So yeah. So database purpose, company are using different database, right? MySQL, Postgres, MongoDBs are there, right? SQL and NoSQL databases are there, right? Right. So initially, when you want to build some kind of model, you have to build some kind of pipeline, data pipeline, we can say, right? So there is a different position called data engineer, right? So they are going to clean the data, clean your raw data. Obviously, there are blank fields are there, outliers are there, right? So data engineer people are what they are looking, they are giving you the data actually, right? So they will make some kind of pipeline, so you will get the live data from there, and then your work will be going to start.
Okay. Right. Now, what is the work actually? Because you get data from data engineering team, and that data is absolutely clean to put filters and to analyze. So how you start it? Like, for example, just take any example. You have the input, you want to reach to an output. What process you follow?
Okay. So I'm going to give you some kind of example, right? So for example, if I'm talking about one startup company, right? So that is a Relofy company, right? So they are going to pick IRCTC data, train data, right? So people are traveling into train, right? Obviously, right? So so how they are going to build a model, right? So let me just tell you, right? So they are picking the data from the IRCTC, right? And then database we have a database, right? So from the database we pick those data, we clean those raw data, right? Build some features, we derive some features, right, based on the engineering, right? And those features will be applied to the model, right? Give to the model as an input. Then our model will be trained on those data, right? Now model have everything, input and output, both. This is called a supervised learning actually.
Achha.
Right? Yeah. So we have X and Y. right? So input and output will be, now model is going to be find out some kind of patterns between input and output.
Whether model is made in the Excel or on which software?
No, model, see, model have a libraries, right? So there are lots of libraries in Python. There are two languages we can use, Python and R, right?
Okay.
So mostly 90% people are preferable Python language, right? So there are lots of library to building a model. Scikit-learn is there, right? So we can also build our own model, customized model based on the data, right? So we can, Python is open source language, right? So we can build any model. Right?
Okay.
We can
Now,
use
how the model looks like what is the output generated with the help of the Python?
Yeah. So when I'm talking about a model, right, it is nothing but a mathematics formula, right?
Achha.
So as a billion of data, as a human being, I can't evaluate each and every data point, obviously, right? So models are what? Models are some kind of mathematical intuition, right, between the data, right? So it is going to be find the pattern, apply that formula, and give some kind of values as a prediction, right? So when I'm talking about a prediction, in terms of prediction, there are two types of problem in a standard machine learning we can sort out, right? So one is classification problem, right, where our output will be as a class, right? For example, person is ill or not, right? Person is obese or not, right? So that kind of classification problem we can say. Our output will be in a category format, right? Another problem will be a regression problem, right? So there are continuous value. For example, sales forecasting, right? E-commerce product price prediction. Those kind of values are real values, number values. So those are the regression problem.
Right.
So we have different classification models are there, regression problems are there, regression models are there. So we can use whatever problems we need to sort out.
Now I'm getting a little bit feel, and in order to visualize what you are saying, I think for a small set of data, these all things can be done in Excel as well. Let's say, for example, 1,000 rows up to 10,000 rows as well. People can also work for the e-commerce data in the Excel, regression, correlation, everything, every formula is there, right? So similarly, but there are when there is a billion of data, then you cannot use Excel. Then you use Python language, and data is stored and some of the database software, right? In all the problems you have a given problem, you need a solution, and you take some input, then you reclassify data, find the pattern, and try to figure it out, like what mathematical operation needs to be put in the place so that you get the desired output.
Got it.
Any other simpler example for a layman who do not have a science background or IT background? Can you give some example related to that?
Obviously, see, we can obviously companies are using a database, right? So if we are not picking a data from database, right? So what we can do, there are export options are there in the database, right? So we can export as a CSV file or as an Excel file. So what we'll do, we will use a pandas library, Python there is a library called pandas. So we will read that particular file and get the data, right? It's the easier one, right? So if we want to pick data from any file, even it is PDF, right? So we can able to just import, give the path of that particular file and get the data, right? And one thing we need to take care when we are building a model, right? So we cannot able to pass the text-based data, I mean, in a categorical format. Right. So for example, if I'm going to pass yes and no, so those kind of data are not acceptable by model, because our model is what? It is a mathematical formula, nothing else, right? So we need to convert yes as a 0, no as a 1, right? So we need to convert data into numeric format. Yeah. So my all data will be as a numeric format, and then I will pass into my model.
What I was asking, Ankit, give us some example where data analyst can work on Excel and use that input output thing. This way a layman can understand that this is what data science is.
Yeah. Okay. So in Excel format, if you will see the Excel, right? So there is a data format available in Excel file.
Yeah.
Right? So, obviously. So I need to give some kind of analysis. I want to see the analysis. Obviously.
Example.
Right?
There is a problem. There is a data. You use Excel. You put some formula and you get the output. If data analytics can be done in Excel, if it is true, then you can give us some example, any example, where you can explain that this is how data analytics is done through Excel.
Okay. So in Excel, there are, if you will see the Excel, right? So in Excel sheet, if you will see the data we have, for example, we have input data. So in input format, we have, for example, 5 fields are there. For example, name, age, and birth date, and something like that. Right?
Okay.
Okay. Right. So those kind of person data I have. Right. Now I want to predict. Right. So for example, age wise, right? And if I want to predict that person is going to be fitted or not, I mean, obese or not, right? That I want to predict. So that is my classification problem actually.
Okay.
Right? So based on height, weight, and age, right? So on these 3 fields, I can able to predict that person is obese or not.
Okay.
Right. So I have output field as well with yes, no, yes, no. Person is obese, person is not obese. Right?
Correct.
So what I can do is in Excel sheet, if I'm going to select the input fields, right? So whatever fields I'm going to select in Excel, right? So there are a graph option, various graph option.
Correct.
Right? So I will check the correlation between the input data and output data. Right? So how my age is, for example, my age is X and my Y is my person is obese or not. Right? So based on the age and my person is obese or not, based on my target, I can able to visualize the data, how age is impacted on my output variable.
Okay.
Right. So there are different graphs are available. So bar charts will be there, scatter plot will be there. Right. So those kind of different charts will give you some different insights. Right. So for example, if I am going to categorize my age, why I mean young, right, child, likewise, right? So if I'm going to categorize my age into sections, right? So for example, 10 to 20 years, 20 to 30 years, giving some kind of binning technique, right? So binning wise, I can able to see how many childs are obese or not, right? How many youngsters are obese or not, right? So those bar graphs will show us a result. Okay, so child have this kind of obese. How many percentage? Okay, so a child have 20% obese available, right? So those kind of internal insights you can able to get through different charts actually. Right? Even we can I just give you example of input and output. Now I'm going to check relation between inputs only.
Okay.
Age, height, weight.
Okay.
Right. So for example, my X value will be my age, right? And my Y value will be my height. So age wise I can check that, okay, so height is going to be increased or not age wise. So maybe it could be a linear graph. So when my age is increased, my height is also increased.
Up to a certain age. 20.
Yeah, up to a certain, yeah. So that is a linear relationship. So now I want to predict, okay, so if I'm going to 50, if my age is 50, my height is, for example, 170 centimeters, right? Or if I'm 30, age at 30, right? So if I want to predict a future height, so if I'm going to enter 50, so my linear graph will be go in that particular way and give me some certain values.
But that is not true. A person at the age of 30,
obviously,
right?
It is not true. Yeah,
having the same height.
Height growing will be at some limit, age limit, right? After obviously I can say after 22 or 25, my height is not going to grow in that. So this kind of problem will get a machine. This model I am talking about, as you said that, right? That okay, so after 25, my height is not going to be increased. How I come to know? With looking at data, right? With looking at billions of data. So now machine learning models comes into the picture.
Okay.
Now machine is going to be get everything that, okay, so I didn't get a much impact on height after 25 age. So based on the numbers, machine is going to be understand. Now when you enter the age above 25, it will not give you much in height numbers.
So what is the difference here? We are putting a program which is working for us. And what is the difference between this and artificial intelligence?
Yeah. So when you have Excel sheet, right? So using an Excel sheet, there are some standard machine learning. I can say standard formulas are there, right? And even I can enter the formula. I mean, I can able to build my formula and put in that particular way, right? But when I'm talking about a billions of data, right? So in billions of data, I cannot able to find those kind of pattern, and even I cannot able to build the formula which is suitable for my model. Obviously, right? So by time data is going to be changed. right? So even if you build some kind of formula, right, it won't work in future.
Okay.
Right? If you have built some kind of, if you have, for example, 10,000 row, right, and you have built some graph and built some prediction, okay, working fine, right? But after getting some more data, your model will be 100% failed, because formula will be based on the fixed number of rows. Right? Now, why machine learning is into the picture, right? We are building a pipeline, right? So when data is going to be changed, model is going to be changed automatically,
Right.
So it will give you predictions, right? You don't have to change the formula now, because new data are coming and model is learning those data time by time, right? So those kind of pipeline, automated pipeline, it gives the data, updated data. For example, let's say a COVID data, right? COVID, right? So in COVID situation, if you will see, entertainment and leisure stuffs are have a lower sales, you can see, and healthcare sectors are as a upside.
Okay.
Right? If you will see. Right? So now, if you this kind of circumstances happen, right? So machine learning model will be changed, right, based on the data, day by day data, right? And those data are as a streaming data, batch data, something like that, right? My model will give some kind of good prediction, even if whatever I'm doing manually, it won't work longer.
That is you talked about machine learning, how you build a pipeline so that machine understands what's the input, what is the output. If input changes, machine understand that the desired results, desired results, how needs to be evaluated and given into the output form. Now, what is the difference between this machine learning and artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so if I'm talking about AI, right? So whatever things I'm going to automating, right? For example, if I'm doing something, right, and if I'm automating something, right, that is AI. If I'm talking about AI, right, in a broader term, right? So for example, self-driving car, right? That is a bigger example of AI. But in AI, that particular car, there are lots of hundreds of thousands of models are built
using machine learning.
Yeah, using machine learning and deep learning. Right.
Okay.
Now your question will be, now what is deep learning? Right. So when I'm working with the tabular data, it's good, right? So I can able to apply my mathematics formula and working fine. My prediction will be fine. Right? Now people think that how we can enable a machine that will learn like human we are going to learn. Right? So how we are learning? We are learning looking at some kind of pictures, some kind of voice, and some kind of text, reading the text. Right? Yeah. So those kind of innovations, deep learning comes into the picture. Neural network, we can see. Right? So our input will be what? Our input will be my images, either voice or text. Right? So now if you, obviously some basics of machine learning are used in this one, but models will be completely changed in deep learning. Right? So in deep learning, completely neural network will be there. Now you will see how neural network will work. So for example, if I'm going, for example, if I want to predict something, right? So I'm going to follow that particular process and predicted the value. Now I'm just explaining how deep learning is going to be work. So that prediction will be compared with my actual value and find out the difference. So that will be my error, obviously, right? So it will be higher or lower. So if my error will be higher, so that prediction will be go back, right? Again multiply or apply different formula, again a prediction, again if error will be reduced, then okay, otherwise again go back, right? It will, deep learning will try to minimize your error, right? Because you see, if you will, I'm talking about a image, right? And if I'm talking about a 1200 by 1200 image data, right? So it is nothing but a 1200 by 1200 means it's a pixels, right? So if you will see, it is, I'm talking about a one image, right? So how much data it is, right? So deep learning works over there. Machine will randomize the formula in their own way. In machine learning, we just give the formula and machine will work.
Right? All right. So what we fix in the deep learning process? Do we fix in any algorithm or any logics we provide to the computer system that it is able to perform everything by self?
Actually, we have to set a deep learning different layers in that. So that kind of model we can build complete deep learning model, right? But my input will be not there's kind of a tabular data. My input will be images, text, and voice. Right?
Got it.
So now, yeah. So whenever prediction will become, it will be as a minimum error rate.
So my question is like you talked about everything about your profile and where the job responsibilities are.
Yeah.
Now there is another term named as big data. So we are talking about data analytics. We talked about all the commercial data. Now there is a term called big data. Is there any difference between the two?
Yeah, big data is a completely different thing, right? So for example, if you have a data, right? For example, if I'm talking about a standard company's data, that is fine. But if I'm talking about a huge company like Facebook, Google, right? So they have billions of data, right? Even data in petabytes, right? Not terabytes, data in petabytes, right? So those kind of big data will be always handled by cloud, right? So they have a completely data farms available, right, in their location, right? So those data will be going to be stored, right?
Correct.
All those data. Now those internal management will be also possible. For example, if I'm going to access my data by past 1 year, not before past year, before 5 years, right? So I'm not getting those kind of old data, right? So those data are stored as a case kind of things, right? It is stored as something you can say archive kind of things, automatically managed, right? So your older data, it is saved, right? But it is as an archived kind of things.
Okay.
And your whatever data you are accessing, it is stored as properly in a proper format. And whenever you fetch those data, it will be give you a minimum time. But when you fetch those older data, it will take time.
Okay.
So I'm talking about the internal concept of big data.
Okay.
Right? So Google have Google Cloud, right? Amazon have AWS, and Windows have Azure.
Right.
So those are the cloud platforms
to store the data, big data.
The big data, yeah.
Okay. Now, Ankit, you talked about fairly well about the profile, and I hope the audience would have got a good feel on this particular profile of data science.
Yeah.
Now, coming on to the qualifications, what qualifications are required to enter into this field?
Yeah. So I don't think any specific. I'm not saying that okay. So IT person can enter this, because I have seen many profiles that they are from different backgrounds and they will are working well in this fields, right? So you are from any background, right? Background doesn't matter, right? Just you have some basic programming knowledge that works well. I mean,
okay.
You have to learn step by step.
So let's talk about the skills in that case.
Okay.
What are the skills that are required?
Okay, so basic programming skill, if I'm talking about, so C, Java, you can learn as a basic, right? Otherwise, Python will be good. Python is very easier, right? And you can able to learn Python very quickly. And you can, after Python, you can able to just explore the machine learning libraries, like Pandas, scikit-learn, right? For visualization, Matplotlib are there, Seaborn is there. Right? So those are for data analysis, right? Then machine learning, for you can use the scikit-learn models, right? So
that means a basic programming language is required, like C, Python is more precisely more important for this field.
Directly start with Python, there is no issue. I mean, no any kind of. But if you want to master and you want to become a pro, right? So I think those kind of programming language will help you in future.
All right. And what is the hierarchy structure here? Like anyone who is joining as a data analyst at the start level. Okay. Now, what is the hierarchy level from where a person can start up to what level that person can go after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years?
Okay. So if, for example, if any person is going to start with their career with the data analytics, right? So they now understand the data. I mean, how to look at the data, how to get the insights of the data. They can able to learn. Okay, so at the 1 to 2 years, they can able to work on it. After analysis, they can learn machine learning libraries for model prediction and everything, right? So I'm talking about the standard machine learning, which I just talked, right? So they will become a machine learning engineer. As an ML engineer post you will see in many companies, right? So for example, if I want to specialize in something, right? So I will learn NLP, that is a text based, right? So I can get as an ML engineer as an NLP. So I will sort out problem of text based problem, right? And then if I am going to go into the deeper part, I mean, as an image, if my interest is images and videos, right? So I can learn the machine learning along with the computer vision, right? So they can able to enter in that particular field.
Okay, but after that?
Yeah, after machine, if you will work in machine learning, right? Now you will learn, okay, so how to analyze the data, how to make a model, right? Now you will learn how to deploy a model. I mean, server part I'm talking about, right? So how to handle that particular model on server, right? How to retrain the model if my performance is going to be down, right? So I have to monitor my model and I have to retrain it with the new data. Right? So those kind of complete pipeline, if you have access, right? I mean, after 4 to 5 years, you will handy with MLOps operations, right? You can able to build pipeline by yourself, data you can analyze, right? Everything you can do by yourself, right? Now you are data scientist from start to end. I mean, you know everything.
That person can create a new program as well, ML program.
Yeah, obviously from start to end. If you just give a data and forgot it, they will give you a result as a dashboard. You will visualize the prediction and everything.
All right, and after that, I think there will be team handling skills. Person will become manager.
Obviously. Yeah. So
senior
whenever
position.
so whenever your career will be grow, you will get some kind of promotion in that particular things and
managerial level role, managing the teams, etc.
Yeah.
All right, and talking about the pay package, like generally talking about, because it's a very hot profile right now, and there's a hype going on the YouTube and everywhere. Like, just do this course, become a data science, earn 15 lakh rupees, start your career with 15 lakh, 20 lakh. People are earning crores. There is a hype on this particular fields. People call it as the sexiest profile of 21st century. Now,
yes, correct.
From your experience, can you give us a range, like a person who is starting? What would be the pay package, and after 10 or 15 years, how much that person can earn?
Yeah, so they can start, if they are going to start their career, they can get 8 to 10 lakhs minimum, right? So based on the, so if person is going to be high profile, I mean, they know from the IT background, they know the data structure, system design, database and everything, they can get more, even 12 to 15, right?
Okay.
But after if you are talking about 10 years, so based on the company standard, if I'm talking about, right, so you can reach 50, 60 lakhs, right? Even above that, right? So based on our capability, we can able to get anything.
And even
this
a data scientist can work in India as well as anywhere in the world, because the language is same, the work is same.
Yeah, it's true. And another thing is where data scientists and machine learning will work, where some company have data. Right? If my company is some kind of beginning company, I don't have data, obviously. So on those data, it's hard to apply this kind of problems, machine learning problems. So obviously, if you will see some reputed companies, right, some startups, as I talked, Relofy, right, so they have some kind of data, right? Now roles come into the data scientists. They have to just grab those data and make a prediction. So my future will be whatever I want. I mean, I can draw my decisions, future decision I can draw based on the predictions.
Right. So anything else, Ankit, which you would like to tell our audience, like who are just starting up their career, who are 12th pass out, or maybe they are graduates? So for whom this profile is, and for whom this profile is not?
Yeah. So if people have interested into the coding, programming, if they are interested in programming, right? So I can say that they can able to just learn the Python and don't go for lakhs of rupees course online they are selling, right? So just make a good index of whatever you want to start with, data analysis, machine learning, right? You will able to get a good index on Google, right? And start this step by step. Everything is available on Google, right? So I don't think you have to purchase those kind of course, right? And main thing is just start internship in any company they have which the domain you would like, right? So for example, there are finance domain is there, healthcare is there, e-commerce is there, right? So there are different problem statement and different models and techniques they are using. So just start your internship as a 6 month, 1 year, so you will have some grab you will experience the real-time data, right? That okay, so how to analyze the real-time data? That is what I would like to suggest.
All right. And for whom this profile is not, those who do not like coding, I think they should not be entering the data scientist role.
Yeah, if their interest is not in coding, right? So I think they can not able to. Yeah, they can enter into the data analysis part. So there is no hard and fast coding over there. Just getting the insights and the visualization parts are there in data analysis.
So is it the final stage or is it the entry level stage?
I mean, they can obviously whenever you start as a data analyst, obviously their career grow and you will become a senior person of data analysis in that particular.
Okay, for that particular domain, but there you are analyzing the data, but not actually coding it.
Yeah, coding means there is a. I mean, we don't have to apply some kind of more logic on their visualization part. Will be more on this analysis part. Right.
So thank you, Ankit, for your time. I hope you don't mind if we publish this on our YouTube channel. We'll definitely share the link with you as well.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ankit. Bye.